Alright, you guys are stressing about this quiz. Remember, we had vertex form. Ax minus h, the whole thing squared, plus k. That makes the vertex negative 3 and 1. Negative 3 and 1 is up. The axis of symmetry, x equals negative 3, is this fancy vertical line. The y-intercept is when x equals 0. Okay, so if x is 0, we're going to take 1/2 of 9 plus 1. So we need, oh, that's not squared anymore. I'm working a little bit too fast trying to get this done here Friday afternoon. So that's 4.5 plus 1, so it's 5.5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.5. Okay, and we would need its reflection. So this does not exist because it opens up by 1/2 of 1 over 2, 1 over 2. So that gives me enough of this picture to get a graph that would be acceptable. Since it opens up, it has a minimum, not a max. If it is in standard form, we have to use negative b over 2a. Sounds familiar. It's the beginning and end of the quadratic formula. Negative 4 over 2 times 1 is negative 2. The vertex starts with, there's already a b there. Vertex starts with negative 2. The axis of symmetry is negative 2. Negative 2 squared plus 4 times negative 2 minus 5 is 4 minus 8 minus 5. This is negative 4 minus 5 is negative 9. This doesn't fit on here. That's okay. The y-intercept is when x is 0. These are the ones we really, really like here. That means we're going to get zeros out of this and get negative 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so negative 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Like how I counted, there's no graph there at all. That's fine. Okay, that should be the middle, and it is. It opens up. So it is a minimum value again. The x-intercept is when y is 0. So getting an early start on the second page here. Factors of 5 subtract to give me 4 are 5 and 1. So we're going to get x equals negative 5 and positive 1. Positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So if I continue my graph, we want to hit those points. So negative 5 paired with 0, positive 1 paired with 0 for x-intercepts. So that's kind of a review, putting some things together. We know this is going to be a max because it opens down this time, but modeled just like the other one. So negative b over 2a. Negative 2 over negative 2 is 1. X equals 1. Vertex starts with 1. Negative 1 squared plus 2 times 1 plus 4. Negative 1 plus 2 plus 4 is 1 plus 4 is 5. Okay, so just plugging it in there. The y-intercept is when x is 0. So that's going to give me 4. And if we have negative x squared plus 2x plus 4 equals 0, x-intercept, if we divide by negative 1, we have x squared minus 2x minus 4 equals 0. Well, this is not going to be good. So let's take a look at what is happening. We have 1, 5. We're going to open down. So we know this so far. That gives us our 0, 4. So we should get x-intercepts. Problem is this is not factorable. So we're going to complete the square. And then we'd still have to turn it into decimals just a little bit. So x squared minus 2x plus blank equals, remember, add the 4 over, plus blank. So we have x minus 1 squared. 1 squared is 1. So it equals 5. And then we're going to take the square root. Okay, so this just confirms that we should have it go down. We're going to add the 1 out of here after these cancel. 1 plus or minus the square root of 5. Okay, so square root of 5, a little more than 2. So we're going to add that. So a little more than 3. And also the negative side. So we're going to get that picture. 1 plus or minus square root of 5. So that really got into a lot of stuff. If we're talking about match each number with the type of solutions, we're finding the discriminant, b squared minus 4ac. 4 minus 4 times 3 times 7. 4 minus 21, 84. Okay, so negative 80. So based on my choices, this is the only negative 80 that I get. So that's definitely negative, so it's D. When I look at this one, I see this is going to be factorable. But I'll stick to what we're supposed to do, b squared, 64 minus 4 times a times, so 64 minus 64. So my answer is 0, which means I'll get one solution. 49 b squared minus 4ac. Alright, so this is going to be 49 minus, we'll be up to here, 24, 48, so we get 1. Alright, so here's our difference. Can I take the square root of 1? Absolutely. So that is a rational number, leaving us with the last one to be irrational. 64 minus 4ac. So 64 minus 20, which is 44. Try and take the square root of 44. It doesn't work out so nice. Alright. So if I can't take the square root, remember that would turn into irrational if I took the square root of it. So that's why we say not only is it going to be 2, it's going to be irrational. Complete the square, give the factors. So as we do this, x plus 3 squared. 3 squared is 9. X minus 4 squared. 4 squared is 16. X plus 5 halves. Remember, leave it just like that. So plus 25 fourths. Leave it as fractions. X minus 3 halves squared is 9 fourths, and these all turn positive. So this is just getting us ready to do complete the square. Alright, solve. Very generic, just like we're going to see. So you have the freedom to make any choice you want. Make a good choice. Now I'm going to subtract 6x over. The GCF is 3x. X equals 0, and x equals 2. Yay! Ooh. You know what just caught my eye? These are perfect squares. So x plus 8 and x minus 8. Anytime I can factor, I want to do that. X equals negative 8 and positive 8. Ooh! Look at that. We're going to subtract the 4 over. X plus 2, x minus 2. But if you're thinking that you want to use the square root method on the original and just take the square root because it was already separate, remember you want to get positive and negative 2. Alright, so all these were factorable up here. So what about this one? 8 that subtracts to 6? Oh no. I'm going to add 8. X plus 3, right, we just practiced this up above, so I need to add 9, I get 17. We're going to take the square root. X plus 3 equals plus or minus the square root of 17. Minus 3, minus 3, so x equals negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 17. Finishes out the problem. Alright, I got a big old mess over here. So first thing, 18 that adds up to 7. I don't think so. Not a good one for complete the square. So negative b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. Alright, the only thing we can do with the square root of negative 23 is take out the negative. So 7 plus or minus I root 23 over 6. Alright, if we move our 4 over, not going to be very helpful. I have 1 and even, so we're going to go straight to complete the square. X plus 4 squared, we get 16. 16, so here's a 20. Let's take the square root of that. We're going to subtract the 4 over, but we're going to subtract it too. Alright, 4 and 5, so we're going to get plus or minus 2 square root 5. That 12, that adds up to 5. I don't see that happening, so negative 5 plus or minus square root of 25 minus 4ac all over, alright, negative 5. See? Should have known it wasn't factorable. Alright, here we go. Negative 5 plus or minus I root 23 over 2. There we go. Let's divide by 2 and see what happens. X squared plus 2x minus 4 equals 0. Alright, x squared plus 2x plus 1 equals 4 plus 1. And so we're going to add the 4 over and complete our square. X plus 1 squared equals 5. Square root, subtract the 1. Negative 1 plus or minus the square root of 5 is where we want to be. Alright, so if I want to complete the square, remember a has to be 1. So x squared plus 4x minus 3 equals 0. Plus 4x plus blank equals now positive 3. I'm going to add the 3 over. So x plus 2 squared, we're going to add 4 equals 7. X equals, subtract the 2 plus or minus the square root of 7. Okay. So you're going to push you along, make sure you're moving this 2 by subtracting it. Alright, do we have 6 that subtracts to give me 1? You betcha. 3x and x. And 1, so plus 3 minus, make sure we finish this thing out. Negative 1 over here, 2/3 over here. Alright, so your bonus for watching the video is we also have some complex numbers. So remember we had 3 plus 2i times 5 minus I. So that might be an example. If we add and subtract, they're like terms if we FOIL it. We get 15 minus 3i plus 10i minus 2i squared. We do have like terms in the middle, so 7i. But remember what happens over here is this becomes negative 1. So we're going to change that sign. So now we have 17 plus 7i. The other item that we took care of in this chapter so far is maybe 5 over 2 plus 3i. So what are we going to multiply by? 2 minus 3i. Up top, easy peasy, just distribute. 10 minus 15i. On the bottom, we're going to do the first of our FOIL. Outside and inside cancel. So now we're going to do the last. So minus 9i squared, which becomes plus 9. It's 13. 10, 15, and 13 don't reduce. So that gives me a final answer. So don't forget to mix in your complex numbers. Didn't make it on this review, but if you made it to the end of the video, kudos to you, and you got a little bonus there. Tell your friends.